up, everybody? Welcome back to another beautiful day in the hobby. I am DCI Jason here with Big Sexy Bradley Crenshaw. It is episode 30 here at DCI HQ. Like I said,
3-0.
Stephen Curry. Steph episode, baby.
Steph Curry.
Man. That's right. If it was episode 77 this week, we might have to make this one episode 77 in honor of the most ridiculous performance I have seen.
Did you watch the game?
I watched the game. For those of you who don't know, I'm a monster Luka fan. I watch all the Mavs games.
I love Luka.
Luka's the best. I have never seen him thus far in his career surprise himself
like he did
with his
last
abilities. And last night, it was one of those games where he was like, I can't miss. I can do anything I want.
67% on his shooting. Unbelievable.
He's done this before. He wins them games all the time by himself, but that was to tie the game, force into overtime, win overtime by himself. 60 points, 21 rebounds, and 10 assists.
Yeah, that's nuts. I think it's the only time in NBA history that there has been 60 and 20 ever done.
In a trip, yeah, that's...
Just 60 points and 20 rebounds. That's never been done, ever.
He's a guard. Yeah, that's something that's great. He's going to go down in history as the best rebounding guard, I think. But 21 rebounds from a guard with 60 points and 10 assists. I mean, he does.
Dude, it was awesome.
He does everything. The pass he made where he lifts the ball up and throws it to the corner behind his head, and the fake pass behind the back, and then the obviously the free throw to send it into overtime.
That was great. And funny thing is, when I was watching it last night, my youngest daughter has been, running fever, and she's been sick. Well, she has tonsillitis is what we ended up finding out. And so my wife has been having to get up with her and go and give her medicine, and she's upstairs, and all this, because when she gets, well, not just her, when any of us get sick, we become, unable to do anything, so we have Nurse Amber that comes into play. And so last night I said, you know what? I tell you what I'll do. Well, whose phone was that?
That was that.
It's not mine.
I don't know.
This is not my first podcast.
That's me either. This is podcast 30, baby.
It is. It's not him. Oh, well. Anyway, last night I told her, I said, hey, I tell you what. I'll let Peyton stay down here in our room so that way you don't have to get up in the middle of the night and go give her medicine. And I said, I'll just go up and sleep in the movie room. And so I go up, get situated in the movie room, me and the dog, and get the game on. And that was just like one of the best nights for me to be up there by myself watching that game. I was like, holy cow, this is incredible.
The fact they won that game is insane. And then, again, we're spoiled, I think, and we take him for granted because we get him for 41 games a year at home. But, man, he is transcendent.
I'm buying a suite next year.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. Let's go.
Buying a suite. You can buy. I think I got a quote on a suite this last year. It was like $140,000 to purchase one for the year, which is average about $3,500 a game.
Right.
Which you get 20 seats per game. So when you start breaking it down, it's not that bad.
No, it really isn't.
I've actually enjoyed some of the Mavs games, with some of the TV stations that I've done business with and been able to sit up and watch
so much fun.
Those in the suite. It's incredible.
Yeah. That's awesome. We definitely have to look into that.
Yeah.
A couple other things I want to talk about before we get started on this week's episode is kind of some call to action. I want to direct everybody to our Whatnot channel. We've been running dollar auctions on Whatnot, building up a great community, a great place not only for new collectors to hop in and hang out to kind of get introduced to the hobby, but we are basically giving cards away for free every day.
Why not?
Cards under comps. We are letting the collector receive the value there.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm having a great time with it, meeting everybody through Whatnot, getting to share the hobby knowledge and talk about the new products and stuff and just keep ripping wax with everybody. So definitely check out our Whatnot. That's something that has been growing steadily. But also, guys, make sure you are getting your cards into DCI through the mail. Awesome special running right now, $8 a card through the mail. RCRs as accurate as ever. Turnaround time looking great as well. Just some more offerings we have here at DCI.
I've tuned into a couple of your shows. I have to go on there, and just he gets his radio voice on.
That's right.
He gets on there and it's like, what a steal.
What a steal.
I'm gonna got a stack started to the left for you, my man.
That's
so
exactly.
You need to get on there and get you a stack started to the left. That's what you need to do.
That's exactly right. Come get you a stack on the left. Come get it started. We're hanging out. That is funny. That is my catchphrase. And whenever I say someone's getting a steal, I have to kind of bite my tongue a little bit because I'm happy that y'all are getting a steal, but I might have just left a little meat on the bone on my end there. So
people are getting full on your channel.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Getting full.
That's like what we're all about is giving that adding that value back to the hobby, and this has been a great way for us to kind of move inventory and deliver that value. So hop on Whatnot. Like Brad said, get a stack started to the left and
stack to the left.
Right into the new year, we're gonna roll with some fun Whatnot streams.
Do you not? I got a question though before we jump in the show. Do you not have any room on the right? Is that the reason everything starts on the left?
I have no room on the right. If you were to see my Whatnot setup right now, it's actually crazy. First of all, my office at home looks like a card shop threw up just all over the place. I've got dollar boxes of singles like you would not believe. I probably have over 100,000 loose cards in a 10 by 10 area in my office. So no, I don't have a lot of room, none to the right, in fact. And so everything is stacked to the left. But we do a great job of keeping that organized and getting everybody their right cards on time. So
nice. Whenever the new office is finished and we have that huge streaming room for you with a huge inventory room.
That's right.
You'll have room to stack to the right.
That's right.
As well as the left.
I'll stack them everywhere.
There you go.
Stack them everywhere. Really looking forward to rolling those streams into the new year. But a couple things pertaining to the new year as well in the hobby. Some major pulls in this past week. People saving the best for last, it seems, as we kind of close in on the new year. One that I know is probably a little bit special to you since in, I guess, a couple decades ago now, you opened quite a bit of 03-04 Exquisite basketball.
Love the product.
Great product. Probably the best set of all time. I think we can talk about that a little bit later as well. But a video surfaced of a collector in New York, 26 Collectibles.
Yep.
I know you're familiar. I think you guys have gotten deals done in the past. But Steven was ripping a box with his family.
That's not the first box he's ripped, neither. He's ripped several of those boxes, and he's done it on live.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's gotten some trash.
He's gotten some trash, but this time...
but I won't say trash, because I feel like every card in that set is just so iconic.
100%.
And such a great set, because I opened 15 cases of that product.
That's right.
So
you know exactly what's in there. You pulled one of those LeBrons, didn't you?
I did pull a LeBron.
All right, so Steven, he put it on his Instagram Live. He was claiming the Hanukkah miracle, which I got a kick out of that. That was great. I'm very excited for them to pull the Lebron RPA, the true LeBron, his biggest card.
One of the best patches I've seen in a LeBron.
The best patch I've ever seen.
Yeah.
True to 99. Just an unbelievable card. I think a sealed box of 03-04 Exquisite's around 100 to 200 grand, depending on the market.
They've come down.
Yep.
Actually, I think you could probably pick them up for, I think the last one did an auction around 50 on Golden.
Yep.
So you can pick them up at a reasonable price. They did reach at one point during the spike a case of 3 boxes or 3 packs, because it's reached almost $1 million.
Crazy. Almost $300,000 a box.
Yeah. But now they've come down to around 50.
So $50,000 a box. A lot of collectors aren't going to be able to afford to, take a risk on a box like that. But how sweet of a feeling is it to open a $100 box and make your money back? Can you imagine betting $50,000 on a box of cards and pulling out a $300,000 LeBron RPA?
Yeah, I mean, the card actually would probably bring, I think it's probably around 500, so about a 10x your money.
Pretty good.
On that particular card. So, yeah, I mean, that's an incredible feeling. It's also a huge risk.
Huge risk. Absolutely. You're going to feel a lot worse if...
I mean, how many cases of Prizm football, but on the same note, how many cases of Prizm football were made?
That's exactly...
and versus how many cases of the Exquisite was made.
Yep.
I had an opportunity to sit down with the guy, Carvin, who created that Exquisite product up at National in Chicago year before last. And just to have the opportunity to sit and visit with him and talk to him about his creation. He's the one who created the Exquisite product.
Yeah.
And he wanted to create it to where it was more of you know how you would display a diamond, you know, in a jewelry store on a nice pillow.
Yep.
So he wanted to deliver that, but they wouldn't allow him to put the cards on a pillow type deal. So anyway, listening to him and his story on how he come up with the design is absolutely incredible.
All the way down to the box and the, you know.
My favorite out of that entire set, though, is the jersey number pieces.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite. The jersey number autos. Today, you will never see a product like that again, and here's why. Each one of those cards, the machines have to be reset in order to print that particular card because it's a different jersey number and a different jersey piece that goes.
Yep.
So it's just logistically
a nightmare.
Yes, it doesn't make sense. So you will not see that particular product ever surface, you know, on a market again due to the logistics of it. They want to be able to. Panini wants to be able to print
as much as
volume
at the same time.
So,
they can make a nice product, but enough to, you know, make
even though it was made by Upper Deck.
Right.
You know, at the time, which, you know, Upper Deck is just not making basketball products anymore, are they?
No, they're not.
I didn't think so.
I know they are going to again in the future. Rumored to be coming Upper Deck basketball.
And Upper Deck was always my favorite. I loved SP Authentic Upper Deck. You know, SPX was made by Upper Deck. Exquisite was made by Upper Deck. Those are my three products that I love to open.
Yep.
SPX, SP Authentic, and Exquisite when it come out. And Ultimate Collection.
Yeah. Upper Deck does make some awesome products. I love even their current stuff, the modern stuff. They do a lot of hockey and some of the Goodwin champions.
Yeah.
Really unique designs and nice quality cards. Panini obviously and Topps, the two big manufacturers, but Upper Deck has some really nice products out there and can really fetch some big prices at auction. Another big card that we just saw pulled this last week by our friends over at Backyard Breaks, a big 1-of-1 out of Triple Threads, Topps Triple Threads. It is a Babe Ruth cut auto with a Babe Ruth, you know, patch.
The girl Sarah pulled that.
She did, and she seems to pull everything for them. She seems to pull everything. They pull everything. You know, all the big 1-of-1s. They open tons of product, but that big Babe Ruth cut auto was the product hit in that 2022 Triple Threads. How do you feel about cut autos compared to a pack pulled, you know, a factory auto?
So there are some products that I do like cut autos on. I do like the Topps Triple Threads, and they used to do, I don't even know if they still do, the SP Legendary Cuts, that particular product line. I love that.
Yep.
Some of these other products I'm not so keen on.
I agree.
When it comes to the cuts. It's like anything else. It's like when you get into some of the other sports and in the other products, it's like football, you're going to want Prizm,
right,
or you're going to want National Treasures. And then you have the occasional Flawless. Flawless falls in there at third, I think.
Yeah.
But for the price point, Prizm beats National Treasures, but National Treasures is the most sought after card, right?
Sure.
So, and I think you have the same thing when you start getting into the cut autos. You've got the ones that are more sought after versus the ones that are just like, oh, yeah, it's a nice card and it's going to bring some money.
Yeah, right. I agree with that. I think that we've seen kind of a spike in that cut auto market in terms of like the legit, you know, Topps transcended the cut autos of like Abraham Lincoln and just crazy historical figures.
Cool.
That stuff is cool as hell, man. And like, I am a fan. I think the people who collect that stuff is super, super unique. It's very awesome. Obviously at the right price, I'd love to own that stuff. But I think we've seen a kind of spike in that, just due with, you know, kind of coincide with the vintage. Again, those cards are not going to be produced anymore. You can't get signatures from Babe Ruth. It's not like you can call him up and send him a bunch of pieces of paper to sign anymore, you know? So when you see something like that, a signature that was just from his daily life, maybe it was a check he had signed or a letter he had written somebody that's been cut and put into that piece, I think those are very cool. They don't, you know, necessarily hold as much for me as an on-card autograph pulled from a product, but I do understand. I think it's a really, really interesting concept. To put those historical pieces kind of into a modern product.
Did you see Card Porn has actually sent all of their rare autograph pieces like that to Ken Golden, and they have those in auction. because he's wanting to sell all those to purchase a nicer graded 52 mantle.
Nice.
So
Very
if you
cool.
go to Golden's auctions, there's some really cool
Cut autos.
There's a Babe Ruth check that has the front. It's a framed picture. All of them are framed.
Yep.
And so the check has Babe Ruth autographed on the front, and then on the back, it's got his signature again with the endorsement, and they framed it so you can see it on both sides.
That's very cool.
And so it's two signatures of Ruth. So that's a really cool piece. He's got some of Princess Diana that's on there. It's got some the Beatles, things like that. There's some really cool autos that they've got on some of that stuff.
I agree. One more big card that was pulled, and I want to talk about this one as a little bit different than a traditional big pull, something that comes out of a box. This was actually an NFT that was produced by Panini. It is the Lionel Messi World Cup Prizm Black NFT, so the one-of-one NFT of Lionel Messi. There was a bounty when these packs were released by Panini that whoever pulled the one-of-one Messi, there was a buyer out there for $30,000 to purchase the NFT as soon as it is, minted onto the blockchain. A couple days ago, it was minted by some guy who was just opening packs. They're $10 packs. The bidder, an international buyer, had said, I would pay $30,000. When that auction, when that NFT was listed to the marketplace, Panini's NFT marketplace, it actually received another bid and ended up selling for $35,000. So the person who placed the bounty actually did not end up winning the NFT.
Was it Spinatron that bought it?
I don't believe it was Spinatron, and I know he brokered the deal. I don't believe he's the owner, but I do know he's got some nice ones.
Yeah, he does.
He's got an unbelievable collection. He did broker the deal, but I did find out from him actually that the initial bounty was actually exceeded, and the NFT that came out of a $10 pack sold for $35,000. What do you think about NFTs as a long-term value hold?
I mean, I believe there's some value in the NFT.
Yeah.
Long term, I'm a believer in cryptocurrency and things along those lines. Long term, I think the things that I like about crypto and some of that blockchain stuff is I can transfer the value of that instantly. Mm-hmm. There's no let me mail you a check. Let me mail you the card. I can if you are in Japan and I am in America,
yep,
and you need money, I can give that to you in the drop of a hat.
And it's pretty cool.
And so I am a believer in that whole crypto, NFT, market,
asset,
blockchain type market. I believe long term we will move in the future to some of that. I think there has to be another level created. Sure. There has to be another level of, like Bitcoins and things like that to put in place to be able to use that as an actual currency like we do money.
Yep.
But I do feel like at some point we are going to see that those particular assets continue to grow.
It's really interesting you say that because, $30,000 seems like a lot for an NFT now. We saw a year ago people paying $300,000 for these Bored Apes, something that we used to talk about here in the office as the NFT boom was going on. Right now doesn't look like a great buy to buy those Bored Apes. But like you said, 30 years from now, that Messi may be worth $30 million.
Correct.
Who knows?
Yes.
So good for whoever bought it. I like to see.
Who knows if the NBA logo man of LeBron James is going to be worth anything in 30 years.
Right.
It's all a gamble.
Absolutely.
It's all an investment. When you invest money you're willing to lose. That's the way you got to look at it.
That's how you should look at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not money I'm trying to make, because ultimately it's all a guessing game as to what you feel is going to be the best investment long term.
That particular NFT to me really seemed to push the market forward. I feel like, like you said, we're kind of going to move into that digital collectible marketplace, and so that right before the end of the year, as we roll into the new year, for that Messi to just kind of set a record for all soccer NFTs, just felt like after the downturn of the NFTs to kind of set that market back in the right direction as we head into the new year. Some downsides, some people who are ending the new year on not such a positive note. Russell Wilson and the Broncos. Russell Wilson benched for Brett Ripien on Christmas Day. Baker Mayfield took him to school in a blowout on Christmas Day, and then the Broncos fired their head coach. Didn't even make it through his entire first season. Where do the Broncos go from here? And how do you feel about Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson, to me, is he's garbage. I mean,
come on, you don't want to let Russ cook anymore?
There is no way for me to easily put that. He is absolutely garbage, and it's not his fault. The reason the coach is fired. It's a collective effort from the entire team and the entire coaching staff, all the way up to the owners and the management. They haven't put the right people in place to allow them to even be able to win. And so firing the head coach is one step. Next is getting a new captain under center that can control the offense, along with revamping the entire coaching staff, along with getting multiple other pieces. I mean, they need defensive help. They need more wide receivers. They need everything. So do I think firing the head coach was ultimately all his fault? No, I do not. I mean, I believe I heard one guy say once before that it's easier to coach good talent than it is to coach bad talent, right?
Right.
And I would much rather coach good talent than I would bad talent. And I can win with good talent. I can't win with bad talent. And I believe his name was Lou Holtz that made that statement.
Decent coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, which is common sense.
Right.
Good talent is definitely easier to coach than bad talent. And it's a whole lot more fun to coach good talent than it is to coach bad talent.
100%.
And they have so much bad talent on that team that, hell, if I was the coach, I'd want to be fired too.
Right.
I mean, fire me. Get me the hell out of there.
So, and I love that you bring this up. We talk about this kind of from an investment standpoint as we look for prospects across sports, right? Is that situation and that organization is so important to win, the beginning of their career, but then again, to change locations and go somewhere, maybe a change of scenery. The Broncos are a historically solid organization. I don't think there's anybody out there who would say the Broncos don't know what they're doing.
Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl with them.
Absolutely he did. How long does it take the Broncos to kind of get back to national contention, versus an organization, let's just say like Carolina, who isn't necessarily in a great place either. And maybe not necessarily known for being kind of a big NFL powerhouse franchise like the Broncos. How much does that organization help in terms of a restructure?
Denver's not restructuring anytime soon. Carolina's not restructuring anytime soon.
It's going to be a while.
Also, the Colts have been through
Holy cow.
7 starting quarterbacks since Andrew Luck retired. 7.
It's brutal.
The best one they had that had the winning record was Phillip Rivers in that time frame. There is so much. The first thing that owners want to do to try to save face, to try to save even the management roles or the GMs, to try to save their job, is the first thing they want to do is they want to fire the head coach. They're like, that's our problem, let's fire them.
Yep.
But I'm telling you right now, you could go in and coach Denver and still probably do just as good as Nathaniel did, because that's just what talent he has to work with.
Right.
And until they build the talent around in that organization, they're not going to be. I'm a Mavericks fan. Love Luka. We started off the conversation with Luka. Dallas is not winning a championship with that team.
No, he's not.
You can only Luka magic so much.
Right.
And until they get the pieces around them, they will they'll make the playoffs, but they're not going to win a championship.
And it's interesting you say that, that it's going to take a long time, and use the Colts as an example. Every team out there is always trying to get better. Nobody's ever complacent, right? Like even the Celtics right now, who I believe would beat anybody in a 7-game series, are going to look at the trade deadline to go and get another all-star. They're going to go try to get another center, a ball-handling guard, because they want to. They're not until they are holding that title as the best team at the end of the year, you just don't know. And so it is interesting to kind of put the competition of the rest of the league aspect in that rebuild. So yeah, it's not looking great for the Broncos, but maybe tougher than most people realize to restructure an organization when you hit times like that.
The Broncos would have been better off just to keep Drew Lock.
Whether or not you're a Cowboys, a Broncos, or one of those big famous franchises.
Look at the amount of money they paid Russell Wilson to come there.
Crazy.
The amount of money that he got to come that organization would have been better off to run this season with Drew Lock and then reevaluate their situation at that point. Or go out and spend the money and get some defensive help, or go out and spend the money and get, another receiver to, run side of Jerry Jeudy. That Jalen Waddle has Tyreek Hill. Tua is a terrible quarterback, in my opinion. Yeah. He's terrible. He cannot, I saw a post that I actually laughed about. He is Tim Tebow in Hawaiian. That is, and I like Tim Tebow. I think he's a great guy.
They're very comparable.
But he's not a quarterback.
That's very funny.
So to have
Tim
those
Tebow
guys,
was a lefty too, wasn't he?
He was a lefty.
Yeah, that's really funny actually.
But
quarterbacks, yeah.
But even having those receivers out there to where you got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, they're having a phenomenal year. It's made Tua look really good. Denver doesn't have anybody other than Jerry Jeudy. So there's nobody else the reason Joe Burrow and them are winning, they have one of the best wide receiver cores in the NFL, in my opinion.
He's got weapons.
Yes. Chase. Boyd.
Joe Mixon's good.
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins is awesome.
So when those guys, when they start to build and they have other weapons that people have to respect, it tends to make the quarterback play even easier.
Right.
So you can make a terrible quarterback like Tua look good.
Turn the ball over.
Yeah. Yeah, that was.
I love that. I love that nickname.
Look at two of his passes this weekend. I was like, who the heck are you throwing the ball to?
And I like the Dolphins. I root for the Dolphins. I think they're, I've got reasons to root for the Dolphins, but I can't. Tua's not the guy.
No, he is not the guy.
All right. I want to, that is going to do it for our episode 30. I know the Broncos, the Dolphins alike, a bunch of those NFL teams are going to be looking to level up in the new year, kind of like DCI grading. We are going to be leveling up in 23. Next week, I want you guys to tune in. It's going to be our first podcast episode of the new year, episode 31. We are going to kick off the Year of Champions 2023 here at DCI with a bang. But first, I want to direct everybody one more time to come and get a stack started on my left on our Whatnot channel. Come and hang out with our community. It's going to be a great time. So make sure you check out our Whatnot.
Everything you own in the box to the left.
Like and subscribe on the YouTube. That way you guys aren't missing any of our content. And we will be back next week. I am DCI Jason here again with Big Sexy Bradley Crenshaw. We'll see y'all then.